filing a BQIS report.
Yeah.
You
On
were
an
saying?
abusive situation.
Uh-huh.
Abusive situation that had documentation, and I had phone interviews with Bequist and all of that, and it was closed in like less than a month.
I'm
And I
so
just
glad.
remember going, how? How?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you to the 17 subscribers who are going to start this episode with my abrupt hitting record on Jennifer.
Yeah. In the
Because
middle of
Jennifer,
conversation.
when I want to elaborate to them, why I do it is because Jennifer likes to come to the pre-show with good material. And I'm like, you need that in the show. But what I've noticed over the longevity of us recording 70 episodes is sometimes Jennifer will forget some of that pre-show good stuff. Now, when I hear you with that pre-show, like, nope,
You just
record.
hit record.
Yep, this is good. So it's a good segue, folks. The 17 subscribers at home, we're gonna dive into a multitude of subjects that's going on right now in the Medicaid waiver. And so, yeah, Jennifer, thank you. Yeah, we get these egregious complaints, these egregious situations, and they're closed instantly. And right
Yeah.
now, folks, what we are going through is for the first time in supportive behavior services entire history of being an agency, we got our first customer complaint. We
Mhm.
did. We did. And I'll tell you about it. Without the specifics,
Yeah,
so I
no
don't violate
specifics.
HIPAA. What we have is an adult man over the age of 40 who is being served by one of our Indianapolis team master's level behavior consultants who also utilizes a therapy dog. And I would love to show you guys Fitzgerald. This is Fitzgerald, everybody. Fitzgerald is handsome Bo Bansum. Look at him. Look at him. Look at Fitzgerald. Look at Fitzgerald at Clearwater Elementary. Look at Fitzgerald at Riley Children's Hospital in May of this year. I think he was getting ice cream here. Well, this is Fitzgerald. This is the therapy dog of one of our master's prepared clinicians in Indianapolis. No big deal. There's a few of them out there. Therapy dog. It's wonderful. I love it. I wish my dogs weren't nutcases. They might be able to be them, but they're not, right?
Right.
So what we have, folks, is an individual, a man over the age of 40, working with his behavior consultant and a therapy dog. The behavior consultant, excuse me, the mother of this individual, this 44-year-old man, she's not his guardian, just his mom, I don't know if he lives with her or not. So I won't say
I don't know.
definitively. I don't know, so I won't say definitively. Nonetheless, she is not legal guardian, but she is mommy. He's over 40 years old, has consented to services from this BC, and obviously the therapy dog. Well, the mother gets into it with RBC over some other stuff. So then the mother files a complaint. Oh, well, she brought dog to my son without my permission and a couple other stuff. That's the gist of it. And so, fine, the first customer complaint, we will take it. We investigated, unfounded. Therapist has consent. It's fine. She uses a therapy dog, Fitzgerald. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But of course it is because it's supported behavior services. And how could you not make it a big deal? You know, like how could you not? So where we're at is in another long-standing critical investigation because why is it critical? Why did it go
Yeah,
critical?
trying to figure that out.
But I've been trying to figure that out, folks. And so one of the reasons why we're doing transparency with everybody is I've been trying to figure it out because like I don't understand what's happening.
Mhm.
So earlier this week, after waiting ages and ages, I was like over it because you guys already know in a prior episode we established through Amy Sears' deposition that like Liberty of Indiana is a separate sovereign company. They are legally no different than SBS. I provide behavior management. They provide complaint processing. That company provides music. That company provides sewer draining. That company provides water filtration. Whatever. They're just a vendor. They're just a company, even though they misrepresent themselves. So I emailed them at the beginning of this week because we haven't heard in ages. I'm getting tired of these open because they just leave
Just
it
leaving
waiting
them
to
open.
open. Do it on purpose. Like they left it open for 4 months waiting to catch. And we showed you guys those recordings. Like this is inappropriate. We have to show all the owners in the waiver world to like this is what you've been subjected to for years and years. And we're just showing people. We're showing
Mhm.
people our truth, our perspective. Take it as you will. So I emailed, and this was the response I got. And I've already gone in and redacted, Jennifer, before you yell at me.
Okay.
Cleaned it up. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, I need a timeline. I need information because we're not getting transparency. We're not getting communication. So Kate Trackman, which I want to reiterate, folks, I understand that they've been misleading us for years and they've been, in my opinion, lying to us. These individuals, although they are using FSSA emails, are not employees of the state of Indiana. They are not. They do not have Indiana benefits, Indiana time off, Indiana representation from the AG's office. They hired their own attorney from some office in Indy, which is where Amy Sears was deposed. So I asked about this. I get this email this morning. Mr. Orozco, as stated in 460, blah, blah, blah. The Bureau of Disability Services shall monitor compliance and issue a written report. The report shall be prepared by BEAS or its designee. There is no time frame outlined in 460, so they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, providers. As outlined on
Only
page
some
208.
policy changes will be needed.
Oh, we're going to make policy changes.
Yeah.
This is fun for me. As outlined on page 281 of the waiver application. Application? Who's looking at applications? We're long past
Complaints
applications.
classified as critical.
Are issued to the provider within 45 business days. I'm pretty sure we're past 45 business days. And why is
Yeah.
Fitzgerald critical? He's such a sweet.
Yeah. This is not a dog bite. This is not, a situation where, a ferocious dog was taken into a home. It's a
Somebody took their
therapy
personal dog. Yes.
So
Somebody
there's
took.
a difference of opinion. So what's critical?
Thank you. What's critical is there is no rubric that I'm aware of, which is what we've talked about in previous episodes, that we're going to push the state to create, because I want objective, because this is critical because it's SBS and it's Joaquin and it's Jennifer. It's not critical when it's Tracy Gibson and gets one cap for telling a mother, we won't let you work with your disabled son because we don't like Joaquin. One cap. We get 6 when we hired 4 people from OPG. Now we have Fitzgerald now, right? So like everything is subjective, and they decide, because we established in the last episode, Tim Cawley to Harlan York, they decide your punishment. They are the executioners, and we're not having that anymore. There needs to be a legal objective rubric that if things happen, we are all treated fairly across the board, whether I'm brown, male, black, red, whether you like me or not, we are all treated equally across the board. If Gina Schenk does this, if Joaquin Orozco does this, if Renee Doman does this, we all get treated equally.
Yeah.
That is the fight, folks. I don't want special treatment. I don't want to be put on a pedestal, but I'm tired of them getting special treatment and being put on pedestals. So, blah, blah, blah. Such as from the BEADS QA/QI contractor Liberty. It is currently under review. Complaints will receive a peer review, and then they're reviewed by a review manager, which I'll be expanding on this, folks. Then it's reviewed by a quality specialist as well as quality assurance director. 4 people have to review before it goes to the state about Fitzgerald. Like, this is such a waste of money, time, bureaucracy, and red tape. Yeah. Lastly, this complaint investigation summary is being reviewed by the BEADS Outcomes Management Director. That's Shelley Thomas, folks, who's also part of the witness list. Liberty of Indiana is contracted by the BEADS as its quality assurance and quality improvement vendor. As BEADS vendor, Liberty will not remove or request the removal of BEADS from conversations regarding its contracted activities. I don't know what she meant by that, because nobody asked that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think that you said anything like that.
I did not. What I said was I was clarifying for the people that were in the email that the people that we were engaging with in that email thread were not Indiana employees. They were Liberty of Indiana employees. I was just clarifying whom we were speaking to. She says we're not going to take them out. I never asked you to.
Yeah.
They were in that email, and I was clarifying to the attorney and to the others that were in the behavior consultants in that email, hey, folks, because you guys are not all well aware of the players, this is whom we're speaking to. All I did. Anyways, my response to this email was, okay, so the pathway is BEADS contracted vendor, Liberty of Indiana, then to her supervisor, Amy Sears, who was recently deposed for her participation in the current litigation. And then they're an independent company from the state of Indiana and BEADS. They are legally no different than SBS, just provide a different service than we do. This was my response to Kate Trackman, employee of Liberty of Indiana today, folks. Then it goes to Kim Cawley, who is a state employee, and she is next to be deposed for her participation on the illegal attack on SBS. Now, folks, hear us as we tell you our perspective organically. Last week, we released the episode and told you all what happened at Amy Sears' deposition and told everybody and sent it to them. I sent it to them. Kim Cawley's the next to be deposed. Well, 3 days later, Kim Cawley emails my personal email. 3 whole days after we released the episode notifying Kim that she's next for deposition, she emails my personal email, not my work emails. For the first time in my entire career, I've been selected for a monitoring audit. And one of the behavior consultants that she picked for that monitoring audit is one of the ones that she picked for Gina Schenk to attack.
Yeah. All right.
No.
What a coincidence.
No.
Right.
Her supervisor is Shelley Thomas, also a state employee that also participated in the legal attack and is on our public podcast witness list. So literally every person who participated in the legal attack of this company, and I'm pursuing them legally, and I'm recording them, is coming for us again over a therapy dog. Before moving forward, with any investigation, I need an answer to my question. Is supportive behavior services legally required to be re-victimized by Liberty of Indiana employees by Kim Cawley, Shelley Thomas, Jessica Harlan York, Holly Wimsat? If so, please provide the code, statute, law. Tell me that I have to re-go through this while I am literally fighting you guys for illegally doing this. SBS will not answer any questions by state employees before proceeding now or in the future without getting our questions answered. If you don't answer our questions, we don't answer yours, whether you're a state employee or Liberty of Indiana employee. P.S. Liberty of Indiana employee Amy Sears already testified under oath at her deposition that they changed their entire investigation process when we fought back about the illegal case because they recognized that they were doing it wrong. So
Yeah.
remember, all of you at home, remember that. They had to change their entire, that company, that vendor. Just imagine you are also a vendor. You had to change your entire process because of our case, and then you're still coming at me? I don't think so. No, because you want your comeback, and I was getting you back for what you did. No. And then PSS, waiver agency owners, pay close attention as they've done these things to you and will again unless we stop them. And so, like,
Well, and I know you say they say they had to change their process, but I think they needed to fix their process. That now, whether or not we don't know their process,
fair way to put it.
whether or not they actually did fix it, I guess, doesn't seem like they fixed it really.
And they'll fix things on paper and then they'll tell you in an email that they fixed it. But
right.
in the actuality, what's fixed? It's still Amy Sears pulling the strings on, well, I'm mad. Joaquin put me on a podcast and got me deposed. I'm going to keep taking it to him.
Well, and I think too, like, I don't think, like you said kind of in the beginning, we absolutely don't have an issue with fair investigation. If there's a report, and we did, this report did come in and we did investigate it. So just kind of ending that situation there, but just overall, like if you're being investigated, we need to be able to trust as an industry that the people that are investigating us are fair. And this is not harassment. This is not, you know what, we don't like you. You're calling us into court. So we're just going to leave all your investigations
My
open.
first monitoring audit of my entire career comes 3 days after I tell Kim Cawley, you're going to be deposed. She goes, well, I'm going to audit you. That's not how these work, guys. That's illegal. She's
well, and
retaliating.
there may be some blanket audits just going on right now. So I just want to say that because I do think I've heard of that happening somewhere else, that there's some random audits going on. So that may be happening.
Maybe.
But
in your fairness,
still super bothered that something so minor as the dog is still an open investigation for so long.
I'll show that one in a second, but this is the one I wanted to show first. So to your point, Jennifer, so if there's a random audit going on, if it is truly provable, demonstrably random, I FOIA requested the entire list of Indiana companies selected for the below audit monitoring only. So it's not voluminous because I'm requesting one single list, and this suffices reasonable particularity because it is incredibly particular. I just sent them Kim's direct email that she sent us. Right? So here's where it gets worse. This is the part that really needs to be emphasized by the waiver providers. So we got word on Monday or Tuesday of this week that all of my APRA requests, Access to Public Records Act. So Indiana lawmakers made an act, the Access to Public Records Act, for the citizens of Indiana to access public records. FSSA decided this week, hey, the three of you lunatics, they decided this week that they're going to blanket deny all of my requests and called our attorney this week to tell him. And he was like, well, what's your rationale? You have to have legal rationale. And she was, I think her name is Rebekah Durham, the attorney for them, said, oh, well, turned in a lot.
It what?
I turned in a lot of requests. That's not legal sufficiency to deny them.
Legal.
We have to sue them. And let me show you guys a few examples of the things that they are blanket denying because they do not want us to see it because they know I'm going to publish it for the rest of you waiver providers and owners to see.
Right.
I'll give you a couple of examples, which is one that I pulled up earlier on accident, but or no. Anyway, they're all pulled up to show you. So one of the things I requested is the entire application file for only, this is not voluminous as I'm only requesting one file for the VIA Quest fully pertaining to them becoming an Indiana waiver provider via the acquisition. Wait, Tiberius, come here. This little Frenchie's picking on the cat, and I'm going to beat him up. Here. Come here, so I cook you in the grill. Leave the cat alone.
I'm sure the cat can hold its own.
Probably. So yeah, I want to look at this. This is reasonably particular as it is incredibly specific. They're just blanket denying. They don't want me to get a hold of that. Let me show you a few more examples. And guys, there's 30 examples. I'm only going to show you a few.
It just looks
But
bad, doesn't it? When they're just blanket denying everything because, oh, we had too many. Like,
legally, they don't
that's
have the
wild.
legal criteria to deny it. Yeah. So they're just saying
Yeah.
denied. I'll show you what they're doing. So like, here's one from 723. All the records of money given and spent pertaining to only the Innovative Pilot Program grant given to Inside ViQuest. Guys, that's state money. It's public record. We get to see the receipts and how they spend it. And I want those records because I don't know yet, but I believe Kelly Hartman's paying herself $1,000 an hour for consulting when she's not even doing anything. This is a money grab and I want to prove it. And they're trying to block it for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I have to sue.
I mean, it seems like you wouldn't have like a humongous treasure trove of documents for such specific things. So you just go in and get those few documents in that time frame and send it. You have
But what they
something
did is they went and looked at those documents that were requested, and then they go, "Oh shoot! If we let him have them, he's publishing
they're on
things
the
are going to get out.
podcast.
Yeah, they're going to be on the podcast. People are going to get fired. Some people might get arrested. So they're not trying to get. They're doing everything they can to not let that out. But now we have to. Now we're filing the suit against FSSA, and then they're going to have to at some point. A judge is going to read that for almost 2 years we've been trying to get public records, and you're illegally blocking us, even though there's an act that says we can have it.
Right.
And then we're going to get back our attorney fees for having to go through all this. But like, I want to see the receipts of how OPG is spending their IPP grant, because as we shared in previous emails and in previous podcasts, there's a lot of the IPP grant recipients who have come together and reached out to IBA. I don't know half of these people. They reached out to IBA because they all feel that Jessica Harlan York, in her own way, is sabotaging them by shitting on their ideas, not letting their ideas and what they want to do go forward, even though she's not a practitioner, doesn't do this, because she's shutting them down. Again, this is the belief, and people are coming together to see if it's matching up with everybody else. And we don't have an IPP grant. We didn't go looking for it. They came to us and said, "Hey, you're fighting the good fight, and you take a look at this with us." And they all feel like they're being sabotaged. Not all, but most feel like they're being sabotaged by Jessica Harlan York, because the funding, they want it funneled to Kelly Hartman, Dina Shank,
Yeah.
and to what are these guys? The Kestrel guys. These are the guys you need to be on alert for, everybody, for a little while. Waiver world, because this is my understanding of who Kelly Hartman, because I didn't realize that Kelly Hartman had the authority to pick her successor at IABC. You guys know that? I didn't know that. Because Kelly Hartman isn't a behavior consultant anymore, doesn't own an agency anymore. I mean, can you hear Max?
Hmm?
Can you hear Max?
No,
I love this microphone. It filters it out. He is barking like a Rottweiler, and
I
it
don't
filters
hear
it out.
it.
His tennis ball went under the desk. He was throwing a fit.
Aw.
Tell
He
someone.
wants to play.
Yeah, he does. All day long. That's all he knows. He's a lunatic. Anywho, so they're coming and they're talking about how they think she is just tanking them. So then they're going to be motivated to back out, to not go forward, right? Because if I keep coming to you with 10 ideas and you keep shitting on them without rationale, even though you've never done the work, I'm going to give up. So then they're bowing out, they're backing out, the money's not getting spent. So then it's going to go to Kelly, Gina, and then these guys are who Kelly apparently is picking as her successor as the IABC liaison to DDRS Advisory Council. And let me be very clear, DDRS, let me be very clear, Kelly Mitchell, we're on top of this. We're going to be paying attention. And no, we're not going to lose Kelly Hartman from the DDRS Advisory Council that she's corrupted just to have her buddy from a long time ago fill her seat while she still has her hooks in. Like, we're not doing this, Indiana. We're not doing this. All the waiver providers are now talking. My emails are getting to everybody. We're all communicating now. We're not doing it. You're not going to get away with this. You're not going to tank the grantees. You're not going to keep pushing Kelly Hartman's agenda. We have proven that she is a fraud. Like, I sent out that email and I compared her to Ellen DeGeneres. For clarity, folks, for all of you immature folks out there who watched and thought I compared her to Ellen DeGeneres because of their sexual orientation, grow up. Don't care. I compared her to
Did
Ellen
someone
DeGeneres.
say that?
Yeah, a couple people text me about that. Grow up.
Oh,
that doesn't cross my mind. I compared her to Ellen DeGeneres because she's a public figure that was outed as a fraud, as a liar,
Yeah.
as on a
Like
pedestal of
her,
I am this
yeah.
epitome of do the right thing, and then you figure out it's all a facade, and she's bid rigging millions of dollars, and she's corrupting our disability services so she can continue to funnel millions in her direction. That's why I compared her to Ellen DeGeneres. Grow
Hmm.
up, folks. We're trying to get the disability services back to where it needs to be, and we
Yeah.
have people who are just blocking it because they want money and they don't want to get busted for
They
being
want
true
power, right?
liars.
Power. It's not, it's money and it's power both, right? Like we want the power, we've got beads in our pocket, and we're gonna push ahead and be on the top and push down anyone that tries to challenge that.
I mean, that's exactly how the attorney phrased it. He said, in Kelly and Gina's coordinated efforts to remove the contracting companies. And for those of you who've been around long enough, keep in mind, Kelly Hartman went on an entire campaign with BQIS, with BEADS, and IABC, trying to convince all of us providers to stop using contractors. Remember that
Mhm.
conversation, Stephanie Shank? Right? She went on a campaign convincing everybody to steer away from it because she was pushing the state's agenda for for them, to us, that she was their little puppeteer and she was using them, and they had a symbiotic relationship of millions and their agenda, and we're stopping that. I'm not here to push people's agendas unless it is the disabled population's agenda that we're serving,
Mhm.
not the state's agenda, not just for Harlan Yorks. I'm not your puppeteer, and I'm not your little Kelly Hartman is, and that's why they propped her up on this pedestal because she'll be good because she'll make millions, so she'll be good and she'll push their agenda. So we went away from that. We can do contracting, we can do employee. It's up to everybody's decisions because they're both allowed legally. But Kelly Hartman went on those campaigns for them, and that's why all of this keeps getting so muddled. Now she's trying to literally pick her successor. No, you're not a behavior consultant. You don't own a behavior consulting agency. You're not in INABC.
Well, and you can't squash competition because that's against FTC law, right? Federal law,
Federal
FTC,
law. Yeah.
you cannot make some kind of power grab in the state to shut out competition. That's against the law.
And that's the thing. They were doing this and they're trying to do it sneakily under the guise of these
Yeah.
policies. And it's like, no, your word salad, your wordsmithing, your articulation
Mhm.
maybe works on the layman who reads it in the paper, but not the seasoned veterans who are out here in the trenches doing it. Like
Mhm.
Kelly Hartman's retiring from 9ABC email was just full of bullshit. And I'm sitting there picking it apart because I was there. I know what she's saying here is a lie. I know what she's saying here is fluff. I know what she's saying here is just yeah, and the attorney said their coordinated effort was to stifle competition and cut us off at our knees instead
Yeah.
of innovating, improving, giving raises. Because again,
Right.
folks, at the end of the day, all we did was hire 4 people that opened this can of worms. It
Well, and
came to
here's the thing too, is like, and I think I've said it before, but like the problem here is the participation of beats, right? If
active.
you're another company and you're like, I don't like this other person, they're hiring at a, they're paying more and it's making me mad, and beads should go, well, I'm sorry, that's competition. You'll just have to change your process. That should be their stance, not, well, how can we help you to investigate them and make it, harder for them? Like it just, that kind of stuff is stunning to me that beads would be in the pocket of a couple people. And so I definitely think that like some oversight needs to improve.
We need a legal oversight committee for the disabilities industry with
Yeah.
none of the people that are in FSSA, DDARS, beads should be allowed to participate because they're the problem.
Yeah.
Like they should not. Like now, what we discovered this week alone, all of my emails now get routed to FSSA attorneys, Rebekah Durham and Lucille
Are you
Uffelman.
serious?
So
It's,
Rebekah Durham is one of the attorneys in the Attorney General's office, which I don't want anybody who to hear AG's office and think big deal. They have hundreds of attorneys. They represent the state of Indiana and all of its departments across the entire state. Like it's
mhm,
fine. I met both of them at deposition in person. It's fine.
mhm.
So it's Lucille Uffelman, who represents FSSA directly, and then Rebekah Durham, who represents the AG's office directly. Those are the 2 attorneys that apparently my emails get routed through to, because now everything I say has to be vetted through an attorney because I vet everything they say. Like, can you imagine
That's a
the rest of you
threat.
owners? Had this happen to you? Had any of you other owners who are doing your best to serve the disabled population You have like a cabal of corrupt people who are just trying to hold on for dear life for what they've built corruptedly when the
Mhm.
millennials are coming in going, no, nope, 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 nope. We need the
Right.
60% profit margin. Nope, you're not going to lie to people. Nope, no more cheating. No,
Mhm.
no fair competition, guys. I know you were born in 1936, but we can compete. It's fine. Get out of the way. Like all of those things are happening now, and they're just holding on so hard. And anybody who says that's ageist, grow up. It's what's happening in front of me. It literally is. It's not about their age. It's what they're doing, and they are very old. Those are facts. Those are facts. If you don't like it, go take a look, and then you'll be proven wrong because that's what it is. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. We're
Mhm.
going to keep filing against everybody. We're going to file against FSSA and APRA and everybody, and until the dust settles, whether it takes 2 years or 40 years, you just don't get
Yeah.
to get away with this. Kelly Hartman doesn't get
You
to get
might
away
be
with
an
it.
old person before we even have like a policy change.
Maybe, but I'll ride this wave until it's till the wheels melt.
Yeah.
Till the next horizon, till the ship sinks. I mean, until you guys put me in a grave, you're stuck with me. There is no
Don't
sabotage.
invite it.
I mean, they've probably thought about it. You know what I mean? I've gone through it. Like you can't sabotage SBS. Like you can't. It's all public. It's all out there. The behavior consultants aren't going to go, wow, you sabotage SBS. I want to go work for Gina Shank. Like it's not how it works. Like we need change. We're going to pursue change. The owners are now being kept informed and they're all starting to band together. Some of them are starting to talk about class action because we need help and BEADS is systemically working against us because they refuse to acknowledge the fact that we don't work for you.
Yeah.
I don't work for Kim Colley. I don't work for Jessica Harlan York. I don't work for Kelly Mitchell. I don't work for Holly Wimsatt. None of us do. They all work for us to maintain the infrastructure so that we can go out and do the work. They have not been doing that for decades, and I'm here. We are here to change that.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to get on board with that, hit us up. And if you don't, that's fine. If you get in our way, you'll get run over. Unapologetically, I have no apologies. I have no sympathy. Like this is bigger than all of us. It's bigger than all of our companies. It's bigger than our profit margins. It's bigger than our luxury condos and our lake houses.
I think I've been pretty happy to see some of these new companies that are opening up over the last couple of years. Some of them have been behavior consultants that worked here and took the model that we
Yes,
have and
tons.
opened their own companies. And so those people are competition for us, because you
Yeah.
see these companies opening up, they are paying better, they are, they're letting people be contractors, or there's more choices and BCs are happier. You're if you're still operating in that old way of yeah, we'll hire you on at 40 grand a year as a master's level clinician. Yeah, you're not gonna survive here.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
And you know what? That's competition. That's legal capitalism.
Hmm.
You have no legal entitlement for your business to be successful, nor do I.
Yeah.
That's why we work diligently to improve, innovate, and compete because I have no entitlement to success. None of you do. I've said that so many times. Kelly Hartman thinks because she got the Olympics are going on. Kelly Hartman thinks because she won a gold in 1968 that all of a sudden she's entitled to a gold every 4 years. No, you have to come back every 4 years and re-earn that gold. And God damn it, when somebody else earns that gold, you put it around their neck. And you show respect and you move on like a grown up. You don't pollute the industry because I'm the only
Mhm.
one that can have gold medals. Because I'm going into public speaking. I want all of you to see me on the podium with my gold medal saying the same thing I've been saying for 10 years. Nobody wants to hear you anymore, Kelly Hartman. We need you gone. We need all of your pollution gone. Just like they needed Ellen DeGeneres gone because of your corruption, not because of your orientation. I don't give a damn. India's disability industry, in my opinion, is embarrassing. When I tell my friends who are in other industries what's going on, I'm embarrassed because nobody understands how could this happen in disabilities. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
there's free flowing millions.
I think that over the last couple of years, and I mean, my situation well. A couple years ago, of calling beads and saying, "You need to know about this BC that I just had an experience with. You need to know about him because he's going to go from company to company to company and rip people off." And they were like, "Sorry, we can't do anything about that."
Look at this. Writers, look at this. This is the IPP grants. This is the money grab. Don't be
Mm,
naive, folks. This is the money grab. Tier one, which is where they're at, is $100,000. So the IPP grantees got $100,000 to pursue their projects. And the more that Jessica Harlan York can sabotage, the less that will get 250,000. So that money keeps piling up. And the more that she can sabotage at the $250,000 mark, the fewer get the no specific dollar limit, but are funded based on the specific scope and project. And with Kelly Hartman and Gina Shanks and Kestrel's $1,000 an hour, I'm assuming, because I want receipts to prove that they're not,
Mm-hmm.
this is unlimited money. This is what's happening, folks. This is the money grab.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can sabotage all the AKCs and all the other grantees at the 100 and 250, unlimited dollar, no specific dollar limit, is millions of millions going to Viaquist and OPG, which is why Viaquist wanted insights and held on to Kelly this long.
Mm-hmm.
Money grab. And we're onto it. The other grantees are onto it. They're paying attention because they're watching the podcast. They're talking to each other again and going, you know what? I don't like you, but for this, let's get together. And we're starting
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that I started doing, because when I met with the attorney, I asked, and we looked at the Indian Administrative Code. And one of the things that we figured out is I basically asked the question, can employees of the state of Indiana behave under the color of authority as an employee with impunity, with immunity, with queen for a day? And long story short, the answer was no.
Mm-hmm.
So then my specific question was, if providers can violate Indian Administrative Code 460 and state of Indiana employees also violate their own code?
Yeah.
Because I got to thinking, just because you work for Indiana doesn't mean you can't violate Indiana law, right? You can speed, you can murder, you can litter, whatever. So then I got to thinking, these employees in and of themselves legally violate Indiana Administrative Code 460. And the legal answer to that is yes. So what we started to do is hold them accountable too. So I adopted a summary of investigation under the Indiana Murder Association as a committee member there and a member at IABA. We conducted it, and this was back in May. We conducted an
Oh, I
investigation.
remember this.
Yeah, we conducted an investigation, a thorough investigation in May that Jessica Martin, uh, I'm assuming is a state employee because of the misleading FSSA emails, but from what I can tell, what I was able to find, that's a state employee. And we attended a meeting where and I'll show you facts of the case, did the Bureau of Disability Services staff conduct themselves in a respectful, appropriate, and professional manner, violation of 460 IAC 636-2 Code of Ethics found. The provider shall notify blah, 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 right? So I did what
Mm-hmm.
the code says, and I notified Holly Wimsat that her employee, Jessica Martin, is an employee of Leeds. And as my recording, because this is an investigation where I said my opinion, here's an actual recording of the damn meeting. He willfully overstepped her authority under the state employee job description. She becomes hostile and aggressive at the 30-minute mark because she disagrees with the wording of somebody's email. Grow up. She made the meeting about her resume at the 36 mark because of her prior limited experience. She communicated verbally at the 37-minute mark directives to the individual support team that they may violate the federal HCBS settings rule by conducting physical restraints, which I jumped into the meeting. I said, heck no, you
Oh,
cannot do
that's,
that.
yeah.
And then at the 54-minute mark, Jessica turns the meeting around to be about her and states that she watches people die from the waiver providers and how she does reprimand us. And she starts to cry and makes the meeting about her. So then all the providers backed out of the meeting. So
Mm-hmm.
conclusion, corrective action, retrain her. Here's your corrective action. I distributed it to Holly Wimsat in May. I did that
Have you gotten
also.
those?
Yeah, she's never completed the trainings in the corrective action plan. Although, legally speaking, your employees can violate your own code just like
Yeah.
anybody else can. So no, you
Sounds
can't
like they
legally
need some
operate.
quality assurance, some
And
quality
colleagues,
assistance.
go teach them quality. Go teach your own staff quality. I'm not going to IST meetings where beads are going, well, they die sometimes. People die all the time because you guys are not giving us the money, the support, and the infrastructure. Because I have to spend countless hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars over ego and your nitpicky mean girls clicks. That's what we've been fighting for years is your mean girl clicks because you want your millions and you want your vanity and you want your trinkets and your trophies. That's what we're doing. That's what I've been spending this money on, not disability services. Vanity, politics, drama, ego, and mean girls. That's where our money is going. And I'm so over it. I'm so burnt out, and they are not going to stop us. I am going to spend every dollar in stopping them. Every dollar, every risk, I will compromise it all, take it. I don't care. I never needed it before. I don't need it now.
Are there any updates on the case right now?
From the lawsuit,
Yeah.
we submitted our second request for the rest of discovery because they never produced it, to
Mm,
compel them to produce discovery because they never finished producing it.
yeah.
We're preparing for the deposition of Kim Colley, um, which I showed everybody that 3 days after she finds out, she randomly selected us for audit.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure she's going to come out with all.
I think it's interesting who they picked. That's
How random is it that 3 days
yeah.
later, Kim's investigating us and picks one of the very BCs that she already targeted for Gina? Like, it's just, you
Yeah.
can't make it up, and I am done. And I'm not even playing along anymore. I just put a stop to it. We're not doing it. I have no legal requirement to be continually victimized by Kim Colley and Jessica Harlan York. No, no means no. Refer me to the sanctions committee, and going forward, I will present every ounce of evidence that I have. I will make the sanctions committee wait until you produce my APRA request because legally you're out of compliance. I will
Mhm.
ride this wave until the wheels melt.
Mm.
Now we have more friends to help us with it too, which means more money. Fucking, we already have a ton of it anyways.
Mhm.
I haven't been spending it except for on this. But yeah, so Rebekah Durham, Lucille Uffelman, if I'm pronouncing those right, are the attorneys that have apparently made the decision that they will not comply with Indiana law to fulfill our APRA requests because it's me, Joaquin Orozco. The rest of the citizens of Indiana get their APRA requests apparently, but
It's
because
just like
I
begging for a lawsuit that you literally shoot down an APRA request that you're legally bound to provide when it's requested because there's too many. It just is
which mind
like,
you, for the record of folks at home who are wondering, did Joaquin submit too many? I submitted over 30 over the course of 2 calendar
yeah,
years, and it
yeah.
took 1.5 years before we filed a formal complaint, and then they fulfilled part of one.
If they'd even just done them within a reasonable time
One per
frame,
month,
right?
two per month, something. Honestly, if you did one per month, you'd still have to do a few more in the coming months. I'd still wait. But that's the thing that I want everybody at home to understand, the severity of the actuality of it. They're saying, oh, well, we're just denying it because it's too much work. You never fulfilled them because you immediately went to go look at what was there and you're like, we're not releasing that. And
Well,
eventually
and
you're going to have to.
there's something to hide, right? Because like when you shared that website of what they do share, because there's a whole list of who has filed APRA, you can see things getting filled.
Happy to show it to you
Like,
again.
yeah, I mean, you can see that people are getting, and I can't remember the dates, but like I remember thinking, oh, so like all these are getting filled, yet like we're struggling to get anything. Why? Why?
Logging in right now. I'm going to pull that up. Yeah, and then I can show that, like, okay, why is Joaquin Orozco? Well, Joaquin Orozco's been doing this. Yes, Joaquin Orozco has been bugging you because you are doing illegal things. I wouldn't be doing that if you weren't,
Hmm.
like, okay, so here online, public record, folks, you can see from the beginning when they switched to the email system to the online form system, 10/26/23. Matt Wright, don't know who that is. Joaquin Orozco. Joaquin, Mitzi Cook, Deborah Perkins, Mitzi Cook again, Mitzi Cook. Is she too voluminous? Are they denying hers? These are all citizens. Indiana Capital Chronicle, Indiana State University, Health Management. I don't know what that is. Somebody from the Indy Star, Infancy Onward, Valparaiso Family YMCA. That's the thing, guys. The Access to Public Records Act was made so the citizens of Indiana, us, who voted in the politicians that made this act, could access records. And they're saying, Joaquin, we're not going to give you the records.
Hmm.
It's illegal. And they have legal reasons to say no, but they don't have any of those. Their only legal reason is it's too many, but that's not a legal reason. It's not in the law that says that you can say no. But yeah, look at all these. I mean, and this is uh page size 100. Okay. So we'll just keep scrolling. This is hundreds of requests from people. Jennifer Hotel, Dwight, Kayla Hitt,
I
Mariana
find it
Dalton.
interesting that some say in review, but others are just processed, right?
Validating request and routing, processed, validating, process, validating routing, processed, and a link. Oh, validating request and routing. So size 100, hundreds of these requests.
Hmm.
In review, these are a bunch of lawyer offices, lawyers, Vigo County courts, FOIA, professional services. You see what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah,
thing
they've
is about
been
these guys,
processed. They're doing them. All right. So is it that the lawyers' offices submit them versus you submitting them and they feel like, oh, it's you, so we don't have to, but
nope, because we've asked that. It's not part of the
okay.
law. The law doesn't distinguish.
Okay.
The law doesn't distinguish, and the law doesn't say that there's a number that, oh, well, you hit 31 and your limit's 30. Their denial is illegal, and they're choosing to go forward with it, which is fine because once they do it, then we file because what you did was illegal and I can sue. They haven't, I don't think they've had
It's
denied it
a
yet.
they're probably weighing the risks, right? Of you having this information
Versus
versus
getting sued.
is it better to get sued than actually give you the information, which is like unbelievable.
It's a war of attrition. And we talked about a war of attrition in the episode 15 with Marcy Thompson, the one that DDSI sued and calls her to go bankrupt.
Yes.
It's a war of
Yep.
attrition because they're saying, again, this is our perception and our speculation. And Jennifer, thank you for bringing up a good idea because I was thinking that too. Is they think it's going to be better to get sued because then they can stack us for the next 2 or 3 years and like I'm going to run out of funds. I'm not. I have enough in the legal aid fund for the next 5 years, and in those 5 years, I'm making more money.
Yeah.
So no, if they think it's a war of attrition, good luck. I don't
Right.
have kids. I don't need. I don't even need to take pay anymore. Like, no, I don't care. Like, we are gonna
Yeah.
get justice for the citizens, no matter how many roadblocks you put in front of me, no matter how
Mhm.
many years come. We're gonna go. And we're gonna keep doing episodes until we get there, whether it's in 3 months or 32 years, guys. I'll get there after some of these people retire and die because time is the equalizer. People are gonna move on. But we're not until this is better and fixed. And no war of attrition will stop me. I am unreasonable. I'll spend every dollar I've ever earned because then I'll earn it again. I'll go back to work. How
Hmm.
wild is it? Never in my life did I think my career would be fighting corruption. I just thought I'd be doing therapy for 30 years.
Yeah. Remember when I was like, you should just start your own company? And you were like, no.
It's the worst thing I ever
No.
did. Worst thing I ever did. I haven't been a therapist in so many years, you know?
I like the work you're doing. You have a lot of happy behavior consultants here for a reason. So people are here for a reason.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a lot of happy individuals, customers,
Yep.
because they choose to be here and they want to be
Yeah.
here. And if they don't have to be. And that's
They
how you
choose to
keep
go
it
somewhere
awesome.
else. That's okay.
Like, hey, when I have to spend money, if I'm spending it where I want to and they make me happy, I'm gonna keep going there and I want to spend more while I'm there. In the broad scope of spending money, obviously this service is different than like going to a restaurant. But like if you make me spend money there, like I'm not going back there. I'll spend it now because you made me and I'm here. But like next time when it's my turn again to pick, I'm not picking there. You can go to that place. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, we'll find the good fight. We're making progress and we're not going to stop. And it doesn't matter. And if the state wants to come out and tank us because we're not going to let Colleen and Jessica and the rest of them continue to victimize us, go for it. Try it.
Respect my authority.
Yeah. We're at war and we've been at war for 5 years and I'm not letting up.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer, I think that's all I had to complain about today. What about you? You got any extra things
No,
before
I feel officially vented now. So
I feel better too? Those
yeah,
emails are ridiculous. Like,
yeah, they are.
I
Just
like to
the
do
open
night.
investigation on such a minor thing. And I just can't, it just bothers me so much to think of the things that have been shut down that I filed in the past. That just hit me this morning,
Well, that's the
like,
thing. That's the thing that I keep trying to emphasize to everybody I'm tired of special treatment. I
yeah,
don't want discounts. I don't want coupons, and I don't
just
want
be
six
fair.
caps. I
Just
want
be,
one cap if they got one cap. If they get six
yeah,
caps, I'll take six. If they
yeah.
got one, I want one. I want fairness and equality in my
Mhm.
treatment and in my opportunity. After that, I'll handle it from there. But you don't get to
Yeah.
treat my white counterparts better than me. That's not racism, folks. That's me stopping discrimination and saying, hey, you're treating my white counterparts better. You're not allowed to. You're
Mhm.
not allowed to have better opportunity to money than me. They're not allowed to have better opportunity to grants than me. They're not allowed to cut me off at the knees because I'm outperforming them.
Right.
That's the part that people need to see is it's not about racism. It's what I see in front of me. They're discriminating and they are subjectively deciding, I don't like him or this or that. I'm going to give them more caps. I'm going to hurt them. And we are never allowing that to happen again.
And just to add on to that, September 4th is the official end of the non-compete agreement.
Yes. We're going to do an episode on that, folks. So stay
Yeah, we
tuned. But
will.
yes. Yeah, we'll close out with that. How about that, Jennifer? Stay tuned. We have a full episode coming up with other people too on the panel about the ending of non-competes. Federal Trade Commission banned them. Biden administration upheld that ban. September 4th, 2024. Non-competition agreements in the United States of America are illegal and void if they are in place. Anybody held by them will no longer be held as of that day, but more to come on that.
Yeah.
And we'll expand on the details on where you can find all the information and yada yada.
Yeah.
Time to go?
Time to go.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.